in Tamale, went to Gumbehene Primary as it was then called, now St. Paul's, and went to Bishop's JSS. From Bishop's JSS, I went to have my secondary education at one of the greatest schools in Ghana, Ghana Secondary School. And so I'm a proud member of OGA 97, where when I graduated, I proceeded to pursue a career in teaching, where I trained as a teacher at the Tamale Training College, now Tamale Education College, College of Education. I taught for a few years. One of the communities that I'm proud that I taught at for over a year was Jimli under the Yendi district. From the teaching field, I discovered my passion for journalism and broadcasting, especially when the first radio station was established in Northern Region, the first private radio station, Diamond FM. And so I combined teaching a little with broadcasting. But after a while, the broadcasting took over the teaching. And so I worked at Diamond FM until I moved to Accra and for further studies. And I then joined the Africa University College of Journalism, and I pursued a diploma in journalism. I also went to GIMPA to do a degree in public administration and did my master's in Masters of Development for Development Studies. Same school, that is GIMPA, where I also served as the SRC president. And whilst pursuing these courses, I also worked at Radio Gold. But before that, I had stint operations at Metro TV and City FM. And until 2015, when I decided to pursue a political career and was elected as Member of Parliament for the Tamale North constituency. And by the grace of God and by the magnanimity of the people of the constituency Tamale North, I continue to serve as its Member of Parliament today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, the nominee seated before us is the Deputy Minister-Designate for Roads and Highways. We are to vet him for the position, and I will then open the floor for questions to be posed to him. His boss is seated. Yes, the Minister for Roads and Highways.
Chairman.
And then the Minister for Environment.
Chairman, I beg you, why is the minister seated so close to the nominee? We beg you, if the two ministers can join us here, it will be very good. We don't want them to be seated close to the nominee.
Honorable Member.
They'll be interrupting.
Honorable Member, you are out of order. I will proceed to recognize Honorable Suleiman Hassan Tampuli. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Alhassan Saibu Suhuyini. It is Osun.
Now, Honorable.
On the part is Osun.
Inshallah.
So, my paths crossed with yours sometime in 1995. I believe that's when I was in sixth form in Ghana school. And that's when you came, SS1. So we've known each other for 30 years, going. And I'm so proud of you for all your accomplishments, along your career paths and even in Parliament. Now, I have been a deputy minister before, and 4 years ago, you sat almost at this same spot, and you were firing the questions at me. One good turn deserves another, isn't it? Of course. Mr. Chairman, Then there was the question at the time that was asked of me by the leader of the House now, Honorable Muhammad Yerega, about the continual relevance of the position of Deputy Minister, pursuant to Article 79 of the 1992 Constitution. What is your view of the position of Deputy Minister? Some think it's a surplusage, it's needless, we should do away with it and let the minister just decide how he does his work. So that's my first question to you. Do you think the office to which you are being appointed is relevant? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very
Honorable
much.
nominee, this is a very debatable question, but be brief.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the guidance. And I'm happy you have cautioned that I should try to be brief on this very debatable topic. And what my honorable brother and friend Tampuli didn't add is that we crossed paths in Ghana Secondary School in the Drama and Debating Club. He was chairman of the debating club, and that is where I'm sure all of this started. And so the caution by Mr. Chairman is good. Debate is something that we have done almost for the better part of our adult life. So, Mr. Chairman, I think that the jury is out there. The conversation, I think, should continue. But my personal view is that even as members of parliament, we have aides. The vice president remains relevant. No matter what you think, there's always a need for a fallback in case of emergencies. And I think this whole conversation about the relevance of a deputy ministerial position is because of experiences that some people have had, at the ministries that they were nominated to be deputy ministers. But I have had conversations with others also who have given brilliant testimonies about how they have been supported and mentored by the ministers that they served under as deputies. In fact, even around this table, when I was a member of the appointments committee, I had people who testified as minister-designates about the capacity that they have built over the years due to the opportunity they had to serve under certain people, in the past. And so I think that the conversation can go on, but personally, based on the conversations I have had with people, I think it is very relevant, it is important, but its impact largely depends on the relationship that exists between the minister and the deputy. And it's not a one-way street. I think that some deputies may not also be, if you like, if there's a word like that, men trouble. They may not be people who are coachable. And so if you don't make yourself coachable, perhaps your minister may not also find you suitable to, assign roles that he thinks are relevant for you to perform. So I think it's both ways. But I think as it stands now, it's relevant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Tampuli.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Indeed, it's a very hot topic because various constitutional commissions or committees have made recommendations. Some think the position should be complete. But I think it comes back to the relationship between the minister and the deputy minister. But Member of Parliament for Tamale North. Tamale North is home to a lot of us. And then you have additional responsibility as Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways. You will agree with me that a huge chunk of the roads in Tamale have been constructed, reshaped, and so on and so forth by the immediate sparse administration. But there are quite a number of roads, and I And I can see Inyebsa Narna sitting right behind you. He would agree with me that you have a great deal of work to do. Inyebsa is there. They are all there. The roads in their neighborhoods. Within the next 4 years, can you assure us that your minister sitting to your right, you will be able to get all these roads fixed for the people of Tamale and especially Tamale North? Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When he was just wrapping up his question, my minister whispered that we will do it, inshallah. And so I have no doubt in his commitment to help us do as many roads as possible within the tenure. But Mr. Chairman, I think it is debatable to say that the previous government...
Honorable nominee, the minister is not supposed to whisper to you.
It wasn't on record, Mr. Chairman. It wasn't on record. It wasn't on record. I didn't say he whispered to me. I said he whispered, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable nominee, you realize that Honorable Buame's concern is well placed. And no, please, you are under oath. So please.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm guided. I think that it's debatable to say that the previous government did a chunk of the roads in Tamale. They did some roads. That is not in doubt, like many other governments in the past have done. And a lot more, is left undone. And it is a fact that it is not a problem peculiar only to the Sanargo municipality, of which Tamale North is part of. It is a fact around the country that almost every part of Ghana still require a lot of roads. In fact, the briefing I have received from the ministry shows that we only have about 134,000 kilometers so far. And even out of this 134,000, about 72% of those roads are unpaved. And so it is not surprising that you will find members of parliament filled more questions related to roads in their area. But I have the assurance of my minister, and I have no doubt in his commitment and in his hard work that we will leverage the needed resources to fix as many of these roads as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Tampoli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Or your last question.
The objection that was raised by the Honorable Buama is for me not to the Honorable
That is not for you to comment
Honorable
on.
Mutala. Who is the
Honorable Tampoli.
Honorable
Tampoli.
He should rather move
Honorable Tampoli. That is not for you to comment on. So please ask your next question.
Mr. Chairman, I think you have to be very gentle on me. The last time I was here, there were fisticuffs. So you have to be very gentle on me and, and recognize that I have suffered before so that I suffer no more. Mr. Chairman, the nominee has said that the roads that were done in Tamale, it's true. And I believe it is very true that especially roads around Zogeli, Jakara Yili, Kakpa Yili, and so on and so forth, they really need serious attention. They really need serious attention. And I'm happy that the minister is whispering into your ears that he's going to do it. So we are holding the two of you responsible because there's no way that we can hold you responsible as a deputy minister. You are playing a supporting role. So now the minister has been put on record as far as I'm concerned. And Mr. Chairman, I believe that we'll be able to do this. I have no further questions for you. I just wish you well as a younger brother. I pray you succeed, and we are always there to support you. All these young men are here. Mr. Bawo is here. The rest of them. Look at them. Yendi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Tampoli.
They are also looking up to you. You understand?
Honorable Tampoli, thank you very much. I then proceed to recognize Francis Asensu Bochi, Honorable. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I want to take the opportunity to congratulate my good friend, Honorable Alhassan Suhuyini, on your nomination as Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Indeed, just like my colleague said, 4 years ago, I had the opportunity to be vetted by this August committee, and Honorable Suhuyini was a member. And I must admit that he asked very important questions. And 4 years later, as fate will have it, like we say, no condition is permanent. I have come here as a member of the committee, not a member per se, but a subject matter rep, to also ask you questions. Honorable Suhuyini, you are a deputy minister nominee, and as you know, as deputy minister, God willing, should you get the nod, you will not be taking substantive decisions. At best, you will be supporting your minister. So, asking very substantive questions, I'm not too sure is the way to go. But I just want to pick your mind on a couple of things. Yesterday, the Honorable Minister of Roads and Highways, or I must say the Minister of Roads and Highways, issued a statement that a committee has been formed to look into the operations of the ASIL load. By the way, I am in support of that, just so that it doesn't get twisted. As you know, I have been there before, and I know there are a lot of problems associated with it. So it is in the right direction that is being investigated. I encountered a lot of problems with that, but as you know, my period at the ministry was an extraordinary one. If in a race, you will call it the home stretch. So one could not pay a lot of attention to that, even though I had done some investigation. But I just want to find out from you, what are your thoughts on that? Whether you've been briefed, and what do you think are the issues? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your compliments, Honorable. Mr. Chairman, I have not started work. I also followed it in the news. I was very impressed, but not surprised, that my minister, together with the transport minister, before taking this action, actually visited the Tema ports, I'm told, and saw for themselves some of the acts of cheating. And based on their information and their, observation, they decided to commence this investigation. And it is my hope and prayer that the investigation will yield the needed results that will inform a decision that will be taken to prevent such revenue losses to the state. Because clearly what the ministry requires now are funds because of the need all over the country when it comes to the road infrastructure. So however we can raise the needed revenue to support government agenda, I think that it is all well and good. So I must commend the minister and the ministry for taking the initiative to conduct this investigation. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nominee. Honorable Nominee, just by way of correction, the objective of this ASIL load station is not to raise revenue. Some misimpression been created in the public that it's supposed to raise revenue. It's not. The objective is to prevent certain level of loads by some trucks to avoid the deterioration of the road. So the fact that you are raising money doesn't mean that you are achieving your objective. So it's a tricky issue, and that is why I thought maybe you have an understanding. But like you said, you are just about to start work. But The second question is about prioritization. Yesterday on the floor, Honorable colleague, Honorable Opon Krumah, raised a very important issue of the use of leveraging public-private partnership arrangement in raising financing for road projects. That has become necessary, even though it has its own challenges, as we discussed on the floor of Parliament yesterday. That has become necessary because the budgetary allocation for road construction is woefully inadequate, given the demand for roads across the country. Yet, traditional financing, like loans and grants, have also proven to be unsustainable. So it's really a big deal when we are talking about road construction, because everywhere you go, when you go to church, when you visit our traditional leaders, when you go to your constituents, when you travel across the country, the number one demand of most Ghanaians is road. And yet we don't have the resources for that. This calls for prioritization of certain roads so that you can, the limited resource that you have, you can use it to do as much as you can. I would just want to find out what are some of the important considerations you assist your minister with in deciding which of these roads to be prioritized. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I am guided by the Honorable's direction on the axle load, except that my focus, unfortunately, perhaps because I'm not very well briefed yet, was on the penalties that are usually charged when people dodge these axle loads and the revenue that it accrues for the state. But you are right. I think the focus should be on ensuring that people don't overload the vehicles and put the integrity of the roads at risk by that conduct. To the question of how to raise more funding for road projects that are demanded and requested by people across the country, I think that I agree with your thinking, but currently we do not have any road in this country that has been constructed as a result of public-private partnership. I know that there are some works in relation to how we can do that, being guided by Act 1039, and I'm also hopeful that it will yield some results. But personally, I think that maybe we have to also begin to look at the investment portfolios of some of these, our pension institutions. I think that, for example, when I pick reports from Senate, and I see that they are investing in luxurious hotels, and they are investing in some assets, I wonder if, moving forward, some of these funds cannot be used to support this very critical infrastructure needs of the country, and like we are talking about tolling, and toll it over the years. I mean, for example, if you have an agency supporting the construction of a dual carriageway from Tamale, from Accra to say even Tamale, but let's even stop at Kumasi, and toll, and maybe have like 4 points tolls. I mean, for a number of years, I'm sure that investment, because you see, pension funds, in my view, are to be invested in long-term instruments, because people will go on pension after a number of years. So I think that that conversation should go on. I will be guided by the agenda of my minister for now, as far as the law allows for us to engage partners that will work with the road ministry to improve the road network in the country.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I think the nominee missed my question. I mean, I laid a foundation to underscore the point that we have limited funds for roads, yet the demands are high. But my point was that there's the need for prioritization in the midst of unlimited funds and high demand for roads. But what are the considerations?
Honorable Alhassan Subochi, before asking your questions, you said as a deputy minister, you appreciate the fact that he doesn't take policy decisions but only assists the minister in doing so. So you intend not to ask him a question that will border on policy?
Honorable Chair, I did say that, but I also added that I'm picking his mind, his thoughts. And he's a very intelligent, maybe out of this, his minister will know where to place him in the ministry. Yeah, so I don't think it's too much for him, but I just want to know. Mr. Chair, it is important because, you see, we have very limited resources, yet the demands are high. And how best are we going to use these limited resources to,
Honorable
the best interest of the country?
He said he would take guidance from his minister. As part of his answer, he said he would take guidance from the minister.
No. He said that in relation to raising financing for road projects, but not regarding the considerations for prioritization.
Well, before you come in, let me give the floor to the Vice Chairman. He wants to draw a distinction between PPP and privatization.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Member, you were talking about options as a result of limited, resources, and you mean from the government side. But you were mixing up privatization and PPP. They are not the same thing. You did say that. I just listened to you earlier on.
I never said that. And
so
I
didn't know exactly. Wait a minute. Okay. I didn't know exactly what you were asking the nominee to answer. So that's the...
But Honorable Leader, I never mentioned privatization. I said that yesterday on the floor, Honorable Kojo Oponkroma raised the issue of PPP as an option to leverage on to raise capital for infrastructure. And he even went ahead to discuss the challenges associated with that approach. And I'm saying that there are challenges regarding raising of funds for road construction. And therefore, we need to prioritize with the limited resources that we have. That is what I said. I didn't talk about privatization.
So what then is your question? Your question?
My question I asked. I wanted to find out what are the considerations that will go into privatizing road construction in the country. I've said that many times.
But is that not what he said? He would take guidance from the minister?
But if he's not the minister, then why should we have the vetting? Exactly. So he should respond.
Please
him respond.
Address the chair, Honorable Sensubochi.
It is important, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Sensubochi, is it not in relation to this that the nominee said he would take guidance from the minister?
No.
Okay, Honorable nominee, what's your answer?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think generally the considerations have been high traffic areas, areas with high population, roads leading to agric, production areas, farmlands, and all of that. And I think that tourism has also become an area that can attract the need for roads to be prioritized. But in all of this, Mr. Chairman, you are right. The minister working to the president will give the guidance and the direction as to how the ministry will prioritize roads that will be constructed within the period. Thank you.
Any further question?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, he is up to the task and responded in a way that...
Any further question?
So it's important that we allow him to speak. He's not a baby. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, my last question, just want to find out. I've been at the ministry before, and I know that there are a lot of road projects already in place. Yet, we are not in the position to pay the contractors to speed up the work. In many areas, contractors are crying for payments, but we just don't have the resources, the money to pay all of them to work at the same time. Will he consider advising the minister to not, as an immediate measure, award new contracts, but to use the limited resources to pay contractors who are working on the existing projects? Thank you.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I am, first of all, not in a position to advise my minister. I am to support him and make suggestions, and I will do that when I am requested to, or when the need arises. But I watched my minister's vetting. I rewatched it a couple of times, and I noticed the passion with which he spoke about the debts that the ministry currently have to deal with. Over 100 billion Ghana cedis of commitments, and about 20 billion, Ghana cedis arrears that have to be paid. So when we speak of the volumes of construction that is going on, we also have to speak in terms of the debts that it has saddled the ministry and, for that matter, the nation with. But I am very convinced, and I have no doubt in the judgment of my minister, that having been given all the briefing and all the records of the ministry, he will take the decision that is most appropriate and in the best interest of Ghana and the people of Ghana. And I will support him to implement that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I proceed to recognize Abdul Fattah Alhassan.
Thanks so much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable, once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
I am particularly excited about your nomination, and especially the Abuja Suhuyini ticket for the road sector. I bring you greetings from Ndanyana. Mr. Chairman, one of the flagship projects when it comes to road during the president's first term in office was the Eastern Corridor road. This road is dear to a lot of constituencies and regions, and Yendi being more like the heart of the Eastern Corridor. Mr. Nominee, I want to ask you, being a son of Dagbon, what special assurance can you give Nanyana that the Eastern Corridor route will be given the due attention it deserves?
Honorable members, let's remind ourselves that the appointment committee is not a government assurance committee.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, Honorable Jofa, and let me also take this special opportunity to extend my heartfelt greetings to Ndanyana, who I know monitors a lot of activities that happen in this house, and I won't be surprised if he's doing so now. I pay my respects to him, and I have the assurances of my minister and by extension the government that the Eastern Corridor Road remains a priority road to this government and will be tackled with all the seriousness that it deserves for it to be completed within the shortest possible time. It remains a priority of this government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further question? Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dapamoko, you have the floor.
Chairman, thank you very much. Chairman, my brother, the nominee, congratulations.
Thank you very much, my brother.
I have no doubt you succeed in your new role. And I pray that the major roles that were not completed. With your support to the Roads Minister, you'll be able to deliver on them. We are in this together. I have your back. Congratulations. Chairman, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I have no doubt at all. I have no doubt at all that my chief
members order
has my back. Thank you very much, Honorable Roxanne.
Members order. Let me extend the courtesy to former Minister for Defense, Honorable Dominic Nitiwood.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your gracious opportunity. I told him that I'll come to see how his vetting will go, and I'm happy. I see a lot of the chiefs, very important chiefs, who are here to support you. I'm very happy about that, and happy for you as well. It's important that our people show support, and I'm glad that the chiefs in particular are here to show real support for you. They will be praying for you. We'll all pray for you, but there are some districts in Ghana today that still cannot boast of what we call even double bitumen surface road, what we normally call third road, to their district. There are still districts like that, including yours. There are districts in Ghana today that you can say that some of the kids have never seen a third road in their lives before. Since God created that portion of the world, they don't know what a third road is. Whilst others since 1960 have known third roads all over. I want to find out from you, as you and your minister. Yes, it's true. I mean, you can't do all the roads at once. You are continuing from what the previous government left off. I want to find out from you whether you would really sit down with your minister, as you say you consult him, to know whether you give those districts some priorities, to also allow people there to see what we call a third road. You know that when we were schooling in those days, in Tamale and all other areas, if you move out and then you came onto from the Dassel road to the third road, you have to first get out of the car and wash yourself, clean yourself properly. You remember those days. You clean yourself properly, and so that people don't know exactly where you are coming from, and then you say you are entering Ghana. So I want to find out whether you really allow those districts to also be part of the country called Ghana, with the support of your minister.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I must say that I'm very happy to see you. You promised yesterday that you will come to show solidarity, and I'm grateful that you have come. I think that I've partly, answered this question when I was dealing with the question with regard to prioritization of roads. And so I will go back to the answer that I gave earlier, that I have every confidence in my minister, and I'm sure that based on all the information available to him, he, together with the government, will prioritize, roads that ought to be prioritized. And you are right that it is sad that in this era, in this age, we still have districts that do not have any road that can be described as a tar road, as it is often called in the local parlance. It is indeed sad. And I made the point earlier that even when you look at the road network that we have currently, I understand an audit is ongoing, it's not completed yet, about 134,000, and about 72% of that is untarred, is unpaved. And so we should tell you that we still have a lot of work to do. And that is perhaps the reason why my minister is very passionate about how we even contract these roads and how we make payments. In some cases, interest payments that could have been used to carry out more roads. I mean, I am very confident that together with my minister, we'll do our very best to prioritize some of these areas that you have mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So just the last one.
Very well.
Prior to the elections, you will realize that majority of the demands of Ghanaians were on roads. Demonstrations here on roads, people, and that you are going to get that pressure. Not just you and your ministry, you and your minister will get a lot of pressure on people. I want to find out from you, what will you do differently with your minister to ensure that work is ongoing, contractors are not leaving, even if they are not yet paid what they think, or we do things differently, because there are many, many countries that may not even have what we call the bitumen surface and paved roads as we talk. They are normal roads, they use chemicals to work on them, and they last for some time. I want to find out exactly what new things you and your minister are going to bring, especially you, to aid your minister to ensure that people can have just what we call access roads to their homes and their farms and their businesses.
Mr. Chairman, it's quite a tricky question because, you see, even if I share the idea publicly now and it is not implemented, it will look as if I told my minister and he didn't do it. So I'd rather go to my minister after this vetting and then have the conversations with him on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would proceed to give the floor to Honorable Haji Aladi Ayamba.
Thank you, Chairman. You know, it's very interesting. Now, people were here saying he's talking too much, he's talking too much. Dagumba man. 1, a teacher by profession. 2, a radio presenter, for that matter, a journalist. 3, a politician, for that matter, an MP. And you want him to talk short? Huh? There's someone looking at me with one eye. Let me turn this way. I've got so many of them. You see, when a queen mother is talking, everybody becomes quiet. Anyway, I'm here. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. You know, I have never doubted your competence. Right from when I met you personally, interacted with you, your activities and what have you. So I know very well. I will not wish to ask you any question because my question with you, you know where it will be discussed. Eh? Do you want me to say it for everybody to hear?
Kanvili.
At 1 a.m. in Kanvili, when we are all ready. So I will say congratulations, and the mantra comes, bye-bye.
Mr. Chairman,
thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, if I could acknowledge, with your permission, my sweetheart's comment. She didn't add that. She, after interacting with me, also fell in love.
Please be reminded that saying your sweetheart, you may be offending some people here.
I'm guided, Mr. Chairman, but I will be putting up a house for her in Kamvli, which is part of my constituency, so that we can have that conversation. But, Mr. Chairman, she's right. You see, my profession makes it difficult for me to be brief. After broadcasting for 10 years, broadcasting live for over 10 years.
You will still have to be brief.
A teacher and a politician, but I am guided. Thank you.
Honorable Patrick Yaobama, you have the floor.
Chairman, you caught me off guard. Alhassan.
Honorable Patrick.
That's why.
Nah, bro.
So, you remember the torture you put Honorable Amakwanta through? Every Friday, Suhuyini will be on the floor. And let me mention two of the communities that were very prominent. Suhuyini, it's in your area. And Kamvili and all those. Yes. So I'm sure now that you are going there, those issues will be resolved immediately.
Inshallah.
Amen. So let's do some business, Alhassan. I listed about 10 very important materials in the road construction business. The bitumen, concrete, gravel, crushed stones, sand, recycled materials, steel and iron. We've become accustomed to these materials, and the cost of road construction, I believe, can be brought down if we look at modern and eco-friendly materials in the construction of roads. Are you going to consider, in your position as a senior assistant to the minister, to look into some of these very friendly materials to reduce the cost of road construction? And if so, which of them have you identified or thought about? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, in line with being asked to be brief, let me just say that we'll be guided by the engineers at the ministry and those who know these materials better. Thank you.
Very much. Any further question?
So does it mean you haven't thought about any yet?
You said you'll be guided by the engineers.
Oh, chairman. Suhuyini is very, very competent. We know him. We've worked with him. Last parliament, he was with us around this table. So just let him display to the chiefs from Dagbon.
Well, you don't want to take his answer that he'll be guided.
Alhassan.
Well, Mr. Chairman, to be guided means you should have some basic knowledge. And so, yes, the important thing is that we have thought about some of these things. I have thought about some of the alternative ways by which we can make our road constructions cheaper. But it will be based on the expert advice. And based on the knowledge you have, you'll be guided by the experts' advice.
I want you to just mention one material that you've thought about. That's all. That's all my question is about.
Honourable nominee, please,
Suhuyini,
you've answered the question.
You were in Scotland for COP27 and all those things. I know where you've been to. Anyway, chairman is babysitting you, so let's make progress. Alhassan, let's look at the Road Fund Act. I don't know if you have a copy with you. Especially sections as amended. Okay. 537 as amended. And the long title, as you look for it, I'll read to you. An act to establish a fund to be known as the Road Fund to finance routine and periodic maintenance. Alhaji, you can listen. It's very straightforward. Don't worry yourself. And rehabilitation of public roads. And if you look at section 2, the object of the fund, 1, is to finance routine periodic maintenance and rehabilitation of public roads in the country. And the fund shall also be used to assist metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies in the exercise of such functions, blah, blah, blah. In time past, funds dedicated to this fund called the Road Fund, I believe, the municipal assemblies, the MMDCs, they haven't seen the use of those funds. Decisions are taken in Accra, they sit in their districts, a contractor will come and be patching roads and doing routine maintenance work. I believe with how strong and passionate you are, you look and redirect the use of the road fund in accordance with the objects as stated under this law.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think your observation is correct. It has been the case over the years, and I find it quite unfortunate because if you look at even the history of the Department of Urban Roads, it used to be under the local government ministry, and one would have thought that their collaboration would have been tighter because of this history. But unfortunately, you find out that these district urban road offices, when maybe funds are made available, sometimes even they themselves are not informed about it. They also see contractors from elsewhere come and start doing road patching, like you have said. But I am very confident that my minister will have the right briefing and will give the correct directions for all of us to support for the implementation of same. Thank you.
I don't have a follow-up on that question, but let me go straight to the last question. Alhaji, you know, there are a lot of real estate companies in this country. They acquire huge tracts of land. Before you realize, they are coming up with real estate, big properties, charging and selling properties at prices, maybe some are even quoted in dollars. They won't fix the roads around the community, but they will say, oh, let the Ministry of Road come and fix it because we pay taxes. What will be your strategy in assisting the minister to devise a very good model to bring into your activity real estate owners in the construction of roads in new developments or areas or suburbs? Especially when you go to Tamale, new developments are springing up. People will go and build, then they start blaming government that, why are you not extending roads to my area? Knowing well that that is not within the immediate plans of the government or the area. But Alhaji, let me congratulate you. You've been one of us. Today you are there, and we'll be filing more questions on you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I must say that, once again, your observation is correct. I have personally also taken note of that, especially when you go to some of these estates companies and they take you to, properties that are priced in dollars in some cases, very huge properties, and they are acquired. And people who acquire them live there. But like you indicated correctly, roads to those properties, remain undone. And that is why there's a need for us to broaden the conversation around how to work together to fund road construction in this country. And if you took notice of the reference to public roads, in the use as it was used in the Act, perhaps there's an indication or there's an indication that we can have private roads. And if that conversation that we are talking about is had, especially with all stakeholders involved, we will be able to do more roads than we are currently doing, only depending on GOG funding. And that is why I am quite confident that this new regime will explore other ways of making road construction cheaper and owned by more stakeholders participating and contributing for us to reduce the deficit of roads that we have in the country. One of the other problems, and I'm ending with that, is the land tenure system that we have in this country. I mean, it makes it very difficult for us to have service lands, as is the case in some other countries, where maybe government owns the tract of lands and can even service the area by providing roads, providing electricity, providing water before the lands are even sold out. But our case is that people put up these infrastructure developments and then utilities now have to chase, those developments. So it's a broader conversation that we should all have as a nation and decide how to tackle it. I thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Akurugu.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations, Alhassan. I have no doubt you are going to be a good assistant to the minister. Mine is just one. Our attitude towards maintenance is worrying. What are you going to bring on board after we have a good road constructed and then a few years to come you see potholes? What are the measures you are adopting to bring on board? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think for me, it's an issue of discipline, as a people, because the road ministry has a unit that is responsible for routine maintenance. And I'm sure funds are allocated every now and then. And that is why I am excited that my minister is one disciplinarian. I mean, his 6 o'clock is his 6 o'clock. In the last parliament, we all used to tease him with how sometimes he will be the only person sitting in the chamber even waiting for speaker at 10, because speaker, adjourned the house to 10. And discipline starts with one's ability to be punctual. And I am very confident that he will lead us in ensuring that we direct this routine maintenance works that are supposed to be carried out already by the ministry to addressing this issue that you have correctly identified. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I'm done. So congratulations.
Very well.
Let me borrow Ajay like this. Wait. Bye-bye, you.
Thank you.
Alhaji Oman.
Thank you, Chairman. Maria Tezoso.
Now, Director.
Thank you. I want to congratulate you on my behalf and on behalf of the Old Ganaskan Association. We are so proud of you, and we wish you well, and may Allah continue to guide you. Thank you.
I'm most grateful, Dr. Chairman. Now, I'm
Thank you very much. I will give the floor to Deputy Minority Leader.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, that's my nephew. He will argue, but if he argue, maybe his vet will go 2 days because we might have to invite family members to testify. I congratulate him. Chairman, my questions are just going to base on how I have been able to raise my nephew, his competence. And my questions are going to base on questions he has asked previous nominee. Mr. Nominee, Honorable Suhuyini, on your CV, I realized that there's no residential address. Please, can you provide us any residential address where you stay, both in Accra and in Tamale?
Mr. Chairman, for the records, he's my younger brother and he knows our house. He can put the address there.
Chairman, it's not for my, it's for the committee. There's a follow-up question.
On a more serious note, Mr. Chairman, I think that's an omission. I live at Hydrofoam Estates and Volta Estates, very close to each other, on the Spintex Road. And I'll provide the address if you permit me after this. Thank you.
Just tell them you are my neighbor.
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I thank you for that. I didn't know if I was permitted to disclose the location of your house, but the truth is that we live on the same road. In fact, it's a walking distance. Thank you. I'll provide that.
Chairman, I want to find out from the nominee. Are you disappointed that you are not made a substantive minister?
Honorable nominee, don't answer that question. Honorable Habib, your question is overruled. Ask another question.
Okay. Chairman, I'm guided. Chairman have disallowed my question. I'll move on. Somewhere last, your time in Parliament, at a certain point, you were kicked out from Parliament. Can you recount what happened and why you were kicked out of Parliament?
Mr. Chairman, even though you have overruled the question, I must say that I am surprised, not disappointed, that I am even considered among the 60 few to serve this country. It's a privilege, and I thank His Excellency the President and my party.
Honorable nominee, once the question has been disallowed, you don't provide an answer.
Mr. Chairman, I'm grateful that I'm grateful, but I just thought that I should put that on record for mischief purposes. I know my younger brother, and I know what he can do, and it can go against certain factors. So I just thought that I should put that right, even though you overruled it, because I know the mischief he can do with that question. Thank you very much, and I apologize. But, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, I am a very respectful, very obedient, but also very firm in my beliefs. And I wasn't kicked out of Parliament. I was asked to go out of the chamber. not kicked out of Parliament.
Thank you very much. You
are not the same. I was asked to go out.
You've never been kicked out.
Never. Thank you.
Please proceed to ask another question.
Chairman, still on that, can you recount why you were asked to leave the chamber?
Still on what?
A follow-up on that question. He said he was not kicked out, but he was asked to leave the chamber. And I'm asking, why was he directed to leave the chamber?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think it was a day that the Right Honourable Speaker, as he then, the Deputy Speaker as he then was, Honourable Jose Usu was in the chair, and there was some disturbance, like it usually happens sometimes during parliamentary proceedings. And perhaps he thought my voice was louder than everyone else. And maybe it is a gift of God. Sometimes when I was on radio, I met people who were surprised to notice how small and young I looked, even though my voice was that thunderous on air. So I get, unfortunately, caught up, by unfair assessment and judgment sometimes, perhaps because of my voice. But it has also given me a lot of opportunities, so I'm not complaining at all. So I think on the day my voice was louder, perhaps, than my colleagues. And he was not happy with how loud my voice was, and he asked me to leave the chamber. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, have you regret this action that led to you being asked to leave the chamber?
Which action? The voice being loud?
Chairman, you are the first Deputy Speaker of the 9th Parliament. And then if a member is asked to leave the chamber, it has to be to certain decision that the Speaker have to arrive at. So I just wanted to find out from the nominee whether he regretted those actions that led to him.
Well, I would, Honorable Habib, I would advise you to veer off that particular line of questioning in order not to open the door for the nominee to be attacking the integrity of the former First Deputy Speaker.
Okay, Chairman, I'm guided. In your CV, you mentioned the language spoken and written. I don't know whether it is in any particular order. You said English, Dagbani, and Twi. Is it in any particular order? And if so, why would English come before Dagbani?
No, it's not in any particular order. Thank you.
You said you are a proud Dagomba, and then you are from Tamale. You are the MP for Tamale North. Why is it that this all-important day for you, you haven't dressed to depict the Dagomba man in you and our culture? Why did you choose to dress this way?
Honourable Member, the question is overruled. Ask another question.
Chairman, then, Mr. Nominee, when Chairman overruled my questions, because you are my nephew, I don't want to litigate. I will obey. Rules, because if you look at your minister is from the Volta region. You are from the northern region. From Bisco in Tamale, all the way to the Boya, the bridge. That is from Sanargo, Tamale South, through to Tolong constituency to the Boya, Mankarugu. Would you consider an emphatic overlay on that stretch if you are given the nod, as it will help as it connects 4 vital constituencies along the stretch?
First of all, Mr. Chairman, I don't have the capacity to make that consideration. So when I get to the ministry, I'll be advised accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Do you think buying government land is criminal?
But he is a minister designate for roads. purchase of government land, do you come closer to it? However, then acts of his view. Yes. Acts of his view. It's not his thinking, it's what the law says.
Mr. Chairman, am I allowed to answer the question?
Please do, but be brief.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think that the disposal of government assets are guided by law and fair price. And I will stick to that. I think if it is lawful and it is fairly priced, as the law stipulates, what I think doesn't matter. Because you asked if it is criminal. What I think doesn't matter. It's a law. Thank you.
Chairman, because he's my nephew, I don't want to go deeper. Chairman, but my other question is that, Mr. Nominee, have you ever been denied a visa at the Netherlands Embassy?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I like the fact that he keeps, emphasizing the mistaken point that I am his nephew. But if an uncle can treat you like this, then you don't need a relation at all. But the truth, however, remains that he's my younger brother. But Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, it was reported in the news, and subsequently the embassy apologized for that mistake, which, according to them, may have happened as a result of, the handling of the documents through the protocol officer. But I don't think that we should be, nobody is entitled to the visa of another country. And so I'm not entitled to a visa of any country in the world by the mere fact that I'm a member of parliament. And so if even it wasn't a mistake, I wouldn't have considered it an issue at all. I'm a very proud Ghanaian, and throughout my life, the only time I even acquired a Ghanaian passport was when I had the opportunity to travel abroad. I never dreamt of leaving this country for any reason whatsoever. I've always been proud to stay here and contribute my best to the progress of the country. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think I have produced a very good, wonderful next view. Perception. This is perception. Many are of the view that you are rude, you are arrogant. How will you describe yourself?
Well, so many other people also, in reviews that I have seen, suggest that I am very humble. And in fact, many people have told me my humility will take me far. And I am minded to listen to that more than any other negative one. But, I mean, we are all not perfect. One thing you may know about me is that I am, like I indicated earlier, I'm not a pushover. I respect authority, I respect age, I respect institutions, I respect everybody. I respect the old, the young, the rich, the poor. I respect people generally. But I don't allow anybody to take advantage of me. I wasn't raised like that. My grandfathers seated behind me would be ashamed if I allow people to take advantage of me. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I can see one of the paramount chiefs in my constituency, Yab Kasulilana, seated behind you. As a member of parliament last 8th parliament.
There's a Yab Nyang Palam too, or you haven't seen him?
No, I'm asking this question specifically to Kasulijile, to the effect that I was able to reach out to the minister responsible for roads, that the road from Katangdani to Kasulijile and from Kasulijile all the way to Wanto has been awarded and contractors are on the road. But Kasulijile Township roads is in a very bad state. Would you consider pleading with or liaising with your sector minister to, as you know, he's a very prominent person in your party. He's a chairman of the Regional Council of Elders, to at least do the Kasulile Township roads for him.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. It's a vague question. I don't know the scope. I don't know the capacity of the ministry yet. I do not also know the priority of the ministry yet. But by the grace of God and by your magnanimity, when I'm approved, I'm sure all of that will be requested. And with the assistance of my minister, we'll see what we can do about that. Thank you.
Chairman, I'm concluding now, even though I have spoken about Kasulile. You mentioned in Yabunyankpalana and his catchment area, he doesn't actually have roads problem because as an MP, I was able to do Changna Yile through Golenga to Dato Yile, and from Nyankpala to Tungole, it has been all up to bitumen surfacing. All major roads in Tolo, from Tali, close through to Lungbunga has all been awarded, and the Tolong Township roads. So let me use this opportunity to congratulate you and to tell you that I am very proud of you. I know that you will go places, but only to advise you that when you go to the ministry, as much as I have been able to raise you, humble yourself and know you are a deputy minister, you are not the minister. Respect your minister, give him all the necessary support, and with what I know about you, you will succeed and you will go places. I congratulate you, and I have no single doubt on your competency. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, except that I know that Honorable Habib grew up with my younger brother, and I'm sure that he's very upset sitting there listening to him say he's raising me and he's advising me. He grew up with my younger brother in the same house, and I watched them grow as my younger brothers. And I'm sure my younger brother will be very upset watching him say that he's raising me and he's advising me. But his, pieces of advice are useful. It doesn't matter how old he is. I take that, in good strides. But I just want to point out to him, when he talked about the roads in Nyankpala, that I was appalled when I drove into Nyankpala's palace. And to have him say he has done all the roads in Nyankpala, I am surprised, because the road leading to Nyankpala's palace is a shame. And maybe he should have considered that. But we will be prioritizing other other MPs' roads, since he says he has done his already. But for the revered chiefs, we would have prioritized other MPs' roles, since he says that he took advantage to do his already. But I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Honorable Jerry Shaib, you asked 2 questions. Not more than 2 questions.
Chairman, that's changed. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Alhassan Saibu Suhuyini, congratulations to you.
Thank you, Honorable Jerry.
Just as part of my observation, I've seen that you were once awarded Northern Excellence Awards, Most Promising MP 2019. That's correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Good to know. Mr. Chair, so my first question. Over the period, I've seen that most medians, when you are driving, are overgrown with weeds. I've also seen that a lot of billboards or signposts are also not properly or appropriately erected at the right places. I've also seen that there are a lot of potholes. In fact, if you take, say, from Kaneshi to Makati, beyond Makati to, say, Kaswa, you would have a list of potholes. In fact, now they've grown to become manholes. And then when you also driving in the night, you would largely see that most of the streets, the major streets, have no street lights working. I know the normal preamble is that you are going to assist your honorable minister, but I'm also very, very sure about your capacity. I know. Honorable Minister, the man is on the road. So I just want you to tell me, knowing your capacity, and in fact, you are one of the persons I look up to, I want you to tell me how you intend to assist your minister in resolving these major, but to a larger extent, basic problems as well.
Honorable Jerry, I am humbled. Thank you very much. I have also made the same observations, and I'm sure many of us around this table are concerned about how billboards are erected, sometimes even blocking vision on some of our roads, which is a threat to possible accidents on the road. How the potholes in some cases, like we have correctly described, are manholes, and they have created accidents. In some cases, some of the traffic situations that you even see in town are caused by these potholes because they slow vehicles down and create vehicular traffic. So these are genuine problems that we are faced with. On the issue of lighting, I am aware that the ministry already is talking with the Energy Ministry and the Ministry of Transport to see how they can work together to improve that, especially because the government is considering the rollout of the 24-hour economy. So it is something that they are already working on, and I'm quite confident that when they roll it out, the issue of dark roads in Accra at night will become better. But we need to focus more on routine maintenance when it comes to the potholes, and also prioritizing where those routine maintenance go to. Well, as for the billboards, I think it's an issue of local government authorities. The assemblies permit those things, and they also have the power to remove those things. And I'm sure maybe working together as stakeholders that are all interested in improving safety on the roads and giving drivers quality experience when they use our roads, we can work together to do better than the situation currently, than what we have currently. Thank you.